and welcome to the AEW Dynamite preview. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with the bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to look ahead to Dynamite tonight. But before we talk about tonight's show, Sidge, we have to talk about the new person added to the AEW booking committee. I'm talking, of course, about Mary Jane, because Tony Khan's in the weeds.
Indeed.
Thoughts?
Indeed. F yourself.
Yeah, I'd have put money on getting a die from Sidge after that.
When was he not in the weeds?
Good point.
I wasn't aware that he was no longer in the weeds.
Mary Jane.
Why is it? Why?
Woman back there, so.
Why isn't he in the weeds? Why is he telling you that he's in the weeds again? Could it be because we're off to a tentatively all right start outside of the main event picture? I don't know. Look, this is. I just don't understand why he hasn't been in the weeds. I understand that he's amassed far too large a writer's room. I don't understand.
In the way. Can't get to the weeds.
It's just odd. What's he been doing? Has he lost? Has he checked out at any point? I mean, half the roster seems to at one point or another. I don't know. I do not know the answers. All I know is that December 18, 2019, he took on board the venomous feedback to that show, showed some balls for once, disbanded the creative committee, where at the time, Cody, Brandy, Bucks, Kenny had final cut on their own stuff. And he's like, no, I need final cut, final say, full editorial control. Launched AEW's best, in my opinion, period. And then bad faith critics in this sort of cottage industry piped up again and again and again and again. And then I think he just, maybe the workload factored into it as well, but he somehow created a system reflective of WWE. Why? I don't know. There's so many writers, 23, I think, Voices of Wrestling confirmed at the last count, maybe even 27, 29. Look, he should just do it himself. Never needed the help. Never needed, like, some help, obviously, but not to the extent. It's just, he has slowly made every single mistake that every wrestling promoter does. Too many titles, too many signings, too many voices in one room, too many voices responsible for, quite frankly, a lot of wretched creative over the years in various different promotions, WWE and TNA. I welcome him coming back. He's good at this. He's really, at his best, he's amazing at this. So, yeah, welcome the news. It's just troubling.
Really promising signs, this, as Sidge says.
Well, the main event sucks, mate.
Well, yeah, but in terms of this Fightful Select report that I'm talking about, that me and Andy were discussing just the other day, and you allude to AEW's creative peak, which I believe was around February 2020.
Correct.
And that was, as you mentioned, off the back of that late December 2019 show. And then, Fightful Select saying, he's said to have been more in the weeds creatively of late. This time, obviously, coming off the back of a really good episode of AEW Collision that we reviewed earlier on this week, the return of Timeless Tony Storm. Obviously, he's spinning a lot of plates, not just AEW, but Ring of Honor,
Jaguars,
the Jags,
Fulham.
What do you make of it all, Hamflett?
My first thought is the same as Sidgwick's. Like, I knew always. And then if that's not true, and he wasn't, and now he is again, is it the smartest thing to reveal that you weren't in the weeds because you're desperate to tell people that you are, and then it's hard in our little bubble not to think this is just a bit of spin?
Bit of spin.
And look, we've actually campaigned for AEW's PR to get better in the wake of WWE's getting world class. Like, they're really good at this. And there's no problem with putting that spin out there. There will be just some fans that take everything they read at face value, and there's no problem in that either. And if you just take this news at face value and you're enjoying AEW of late, then you're going to go, that's good. steady hand on the wheel once again. And that makes you think Tony Khan's hand's always been steady. And maybe that's not been the case, but now you're left thinking that you're going to go into this Dynamite and the next collision and so on thinking, ooh, I can go in feeling relieved before it even happens because the hand on the wheel is steady. And like that's how PR and spin and all the rest of it works. And if that's
it's a sideways burial of everybody else, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Because he's now created...
These things always are. There's always a sort of a victim of a story like this.
Yeah, because RJ City's already getting the Jimmy Jacobs treatment.
Yeah.
I just odd this. Very, very odd. But now is the idea creating this scenario wherein if there's a good Dynamite, Tony was at the wheel. Bad Dynamite, oh God, has Tony taken a week off?
Yeah. Yes.
It's almost like that when, very, very different situations, obviously, but when Vince was trying to, for me anyway, it felt like when he was back, but not really amid the TKO stuff, he wanted Omos versus Brock Lesnar, and that was Vince got his little thing, and then everything else was Levesque, and then there was this situation where if there was something bad on Raw or SmackDown, it's Vince must have done that.
Yeah.
And then just further babyface Levesque, it's like, if only if he get his amazing ideas through, it would be a lot better, and etc. So it feels like a little version of that, which is less than ideal. I mean, if these people suck so much that are booking the show when you can't be bothered, why are they still there?
Like, I like to think we've been consistent on this as well. It's a bit like when, you could, whether it had been something like Brawl Out or whenever there's been like contract disputes or unhappy wrestlers or whatever, we've always tried to say it always ends with him.
Yeah.
And this applies here as well.
Like, I've got PDS, I've got Punk Derangement Syndicate. But ultimately, Tony Khan drastically mismanaged that situation.
Yeah. And if he's in the weeds now and making it better, it's on him that it wasn't good to begin with. Do you know what I mean? All the books either stops with him or it doesn't. In the weeds it just feels too, it even feels too wrestling-y. I feel like I can hear a conversation going on. It's like, it's great having you back in the weeds, boss. Do you know, maybe that's just me.
There was definitely a period where when Vince came back, there was talk of him not getting too into the weeds and what have you.
That's Vince phrase. He said it in 2019 when he pretended to hire Bischoff and Heyman as executive directors. Can't be in the weeds anymore, that's for sure.
But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out going forward. I suppose we should just give this time and then judge it. Like you say, it's been a promising start to the year, so maybe give it 3 more months, so around 420, we can sort of reassess how it is all going. But
I don't really like a book.
Switching gears to tonight's Dynamite, Sidge. Jeff Jarrett trying to earn himself a title shot by facing another member of the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, if this goes the worst way it can go, and there's always the risk. Maybe it was an RJ City Dynamite. They have to be kind of careful here. Like, no one is really loving the Death Riders, but at the same time, this match, if Jeff Jarrett just wins in pretty unconvincing fashion against, I'll never be able to get the phrase human horse out of my head from Kevin Owens to describe Claudio Castagnoli. He is a magnificent beast. And even though he's hardly part of a very hot act these days, I think he's actually emerged from it with a degree of credit. They just have to get this right, especially since this Jeff Jarrett soul of the promotion, kind of, where he was like the conscience of AEW when he was like, Hangman's gone wrong, and I'm trying to, be a veteran presence who steers people in the right direction. Like, the conscience of AEW is Jeff Jarrett's kind of thing over the past year. It has worked very well. Him becoming more prominent in storylines in recent weeks absolutely has not. There's a sense that Jarrett has to do things perfectly from this moment on. From this moment, this will be the moment where Jeff Jarrett kind of has to start hitting home runs.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, the knives will be out. People already are like, Jarrett. And, I know you love Jarrett. Jarrett has his fans, these worked punch nonces, love their Jarretts. But I don't necessarily think that the goodwill that Jarrett has in certain circles is really reflected across that AEW core base.
He's getting thrown in with Jericho now.
Yes.
You've seen people listing like people that are too old or are too involved.
Yeah.
And he's kind of getting thrown in with them.
He's not Sting.
No.
He's not Sting. If they think he's Sting, they are wildly misinformed, even though, as I said, these work punch nonsense, who...
Jarrett, Lawler, Funk? Is he a punch? He's a worked punch guy?
Yeah, I'm talking more about these people who probably overstate how good certain wrestlers are or how refreshing certain things are, like the Costco guys, simply because they have they're in a mood with modern wrestling or whatever, you know.
They get it.
They get it.
They get it.
They know ball.
Yeah.
They know ball.
I was watching some Lou Thez the other day, and when he did the 5 booms thing at the end of his match.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Classic hooker.
So Jarrett's got those people, but again, I don't think that set of fans, niche within a niche, not reflective of the base. If Jeff Jarrett doesn't pull out an incredible performance against Claudio Castagnoli, and the finish isn't convincing, this could go even more wrong than it has over the past 2 weeks. Fascinated to look at this match and how they do it. It seems like it's a very bold swing, and who knows, right? Maybe this is one of those moments where I'll be holding my hands up because once the dust settled on the Hangman Christopher Daniels thing, I was like, that was a great bit of business. And I wish I wasn't such a cynical prick, and I wish I could have enjoyed every bit, the anticipation and the delivery. Maybe it's one of those, they've got a great idea and they've got the flair and the nous to execute. AEW hasn't been in a position to sort of foster that sense of trust for a long time now. So I am looking at this thing, and that's a weird one. I don't know if it's a DQ. I don't know if he steals one. I don't know if he puts on a babyface performance of a lifetime and just squeaks by, but it feels earned. It just feels like a weird match to do. And look, we've been here before where he saw the match graphic and he thought, that's not going to go well for the person it's meant to put over. So I'm not just being miserable, Sidge. Like, I'm not. Very, very recent example of that match graphic looks destined to fail. And guess what? The match happened and it failed. Adam Cole versus Konosuke Takeshita as part of that MJF feud, where it's like, if you beat however many wrestlers, then Cole won that match, didn't he? Or did he lose?
Yeah, that was the one he lost.
That's the one he lost.
1-2 and then he lost.
But he didn't get over, really. And it was sort of Konosuke Takeshita had to cheat, and it just didn't really work. And Cole, Takeshita completely outclassed him in the match. This could go that way, where even if Claudio wins and we go into a detour, Claudio might just look like too much of a monster in this idea of Jarrett falling on a sword valiantly. It might just not work. It didn't work in Cole Takeshita, irrespective of the results. So there is recent precedent informing my cynicism here.
You're just hoping for a guitar shot in the giant swing, aren't you?
Well, this is it, right? Sidge has asked for a great idea and a bold swing. And I'm saying put your hands together, because my great idea involves a bold swing. I pitched it last week. He's in the swing. The swing is so strong. If
the ref gets bummed.
The ref is bummed. The guitar is to hand, at least. And he just catches the guitar mid-swing. Bop! Right across the head. So Cesaro's out, Claudio's out, and Jarrett's able to make the cover and get the win. And why I like the finish more than just because I love guitar shots, and it's just be quite satisfying to see a Death Rider get beaten with a guitar shot. That means
Death Rider showing ass for once.
That means something to me. But why I love that as well is because I actually think it services the storyline here. The problem with, you have to overlap Jarrett with the Death Riders, because the Jarrett MJF story is informed by the idea that Jarrett wants to win the world title. So none of those sit easily with each other, but they have to for any of this to work, right? So this match, I don't want to see the human horse getting beaten with a stroke. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. And that's what makes me dread elements of this match. However, why MJF is when he latched onto Jeff Jarrett was because, yes, he's a weak old man that I can just manipulate and then beat him for the title rather than having to worry about Dictator John. Is because what he does know is, if nothing else, Jarrett sometimes comes through in the clutch and wins a world title when he really shouldn't. That's part of all of this, right? Yeah. Jarrett has politicked and cheated his way to countless world titles that lots of people say he never deserved, right? So MJF, if nothing else, has isolated, I want to beat the old man, but I've got to pick the right old man. And maybe Jarrett's the old man, and this is how he gets it done. So Jarrett cheating makes far more narrative sense than him being this all-conquering hero.
And he's got that sort of...
He can try.
His cheating became charming as well.
Yes.
That's what people grew to like Jarrett, because that stuff with Jay Lethal was really entertaining in 2023.
He can run Claudio close, and then when it looks as if all is lost, it's a subversion of the guitar shot once being the move of the troll, being the, get him, you got him. And then Moxley can be like, I'm going to kill you, pal. We don't lose matches. At worst, it's a Death Rider Deke. We do not lose matches. And you've done it. You've carnaged me once we're going to break your legs.
Yeah.
We're going to feed you bleach. Like and all of a sudden MJF's like, it's kind of win-win for me. Jarrett gets it done and then I get to beat the old man. Or have I rattled Jarrett enough to rattle Dictator John that my plan comes to fruition at the end of it? I don't think a clean win for Jarrett makes sense within the context.
No.
He kind of needs to like find the bastard within as well as trying to start with, oh man, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to be the best wrestler. He's younger, he's stronger, he's better. I'm in real trouble here.
Yeah.
I need to be Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
It does feel like a diversion for a variety of different people on the road to Revolution in terms of you've got presumably MJF Jarrett there, and Mox versus Cope at that one, but for the time being,
March.
maybe
It's not even February yet.
Grand Slam, or maybe just a big TV special you do.
January is the longest month. It's ridiculous.
Nearly there.
Yeah.
MJF
Christmas was barely a month ago. I felt like I've lived 4 lifetimes.
MJF is also set to speak on tonight's show. I assume Jarrett, Claudio main events.
I don't know. Maybe. No, because I feel like MJF will respond to what happens in this match.
Maybe, yeah. What do you think he's going to have to say, or is it just going to be more of...
Does he come out after, if Jarrett wins, does he come out after the match? Good job, Jeffrey. And then runs him down while Jarrett's knackered or something. They sometimes fold these things together.
Yeah. It feels like one of those where they've announced him as having a talking segment when that makes no sense because he's only going to talk in reaction to whatever happens. So I feel like I need to know what the finish is to predict or preview what MJF's going to say. He needs a good week as well.
Not many matches announced for this show at time of recording. One of them, though, off the back of the brilliant opening to last week's Dynamite, the teaming up of Ospreay and Omega, and obviously that match is set for Australia. Tonight, we've got Will Ospreay versus Brian Cage, but also, as we saw on Collision...
Can't see past Ospreay here.
Also, we saw the tease of a new member of the Don Callis family as well.
Yes, I don't think you beat Ospreay, even if a new revealed member of the Callis family costs him the win. You can't lose to Brian Cage, in my opinion, under any circumstances. So maybe it will be a case of Ospreay beats Cage. Then Kenny comes out, sends everyone flying, and then whoever it is attacks him from behind, and then the 5-on-2 advantage is better than the 4-on-2. I would not beat Will Ospreay at any point. You'd have to be very, very careful about when to beat Will Ospreay, considering he could be the guy, and in fact, he probably should be already. So that's how I would do it. Ospreay beats Cage. I can't get excited about it. I mean, it's Ospreay, but Ospreay's TV matches, he saw it recently with Buddy Matthews. He's going to sell at some point for Brian Cage, he's in the fight of his life, and I'm just not going to believe it. Did it against Buddy Matthews, and it was exciting. It's just not to dig out Brian Cage. I think Brian Cage as an opponent will bring out the worst of Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? I can't imagine it being a great meeting of the minds and having this really great, cerebral, well thought out match and how to make people buy. I think it's going to be a dumbass fireworks factory where I'll pop for a lot of it. But I think Ospreay on TV takes it too far. I only hold him to the highest standard because he's Will Ospreay. But he will do I'm in the fight of my life. I've just been, drill clawed, but I'm going to pop up and do the hidden blade. And it can verge on formula. And it stretches my suspension of disbelief sometimes on telly. On pay-per-view, you can get away with it because he's having this big showdown. On TV, I don't know what the middle is. Brian could find it. Kenny, I love him, couldn't find it against Brian Cage. It was so matter-of-fact and a little bit middling and not really dramatic. Ospreay, reaches too much for drama. I just can't imagine Brian Cage being the one to guide him and have him meet him in the middle here.
This is not really going to inform the fiction in any way, but it just will be interesting to watch as a fan. Ospreay potentially have a better match with Cage than Omega did, because obviously there's a competitive element underpinning their team.
Yes.
And about whether or not, Kenny coming back the other week or last week and saying, you're not the best now because I'm back. And then Ospreay goes out and beats Brian Cage in easier fashion than Kenny did. Kenny beat him. And I'm not saying we're talking about match quality here, not out loud, but Ospreay doing a better job of it, and the subtext being, I kind of made it easier working him than you, mate. Like,
Oh,
we're a team.
I had more asterisks on that.
Yeah.
I had more stars, you know.
That's kind of interesting. And I will say,
Did Dave rate Omega Cage?
3 and 3, I think.
which,
I mean, that might as well be a dud for.
that's a hate crime to get melts from Kenny Omega, isn't it? Yeah. Like, yeah, they're giving you reason to, after last week and the formation of the team happening through, like, them being wrestlers. If we work together, we are stronger. Let's jump off stuff together. Maybe this can work, actually. I would like them to lean in even harder at that. And if and when the brawl happens, and if and when there's a 5-on-2 attack, if there's a new member of the Callis family or whatever, let's climb some stuff again. Let's keep jumping off. Yeah. Like, you've only got Grand Slam's, what, like 2 weeks away?
Yes.
Only got a couple of Dynamites.
2.5 weeks, yeah.
Keep that energy.
Yeah.
Don't think that was the big setup. Just whatever daft stuff you can do to illustrate how far Omega and Ospreay will go to steal every show. Try that. A month won't kill you.
On that, I've got an idea for next week to sort of improve my mood on all of this. I was in a great mood last week, but I talk about zones and booking patterns. Kenny Omega's in this zone now, and how these things tend to shake out is, right, there's no chance really of Kenny Omega having a match with, I don't know, Roderick Strong, which would be tits, I think, but it's just he's not in that zone. He's in the zone now where he's in the stablemate zone. So that's why Will Ospreay is having this match with Brian Cage, and he can almost see the various permutations, and there's a limited range because Tony Khan, when he creates these zones, imposes a limited range. So it's going to be maybe Kenny Omega versus Lance Archer next week, and then so on until we get to the tag, and then maybe the 2 Omega Takeshita 3. To make this more exciting, I would have Ospreay goes over Cage. We'll talk about who could interfere afterwards imminently. There's a button I want to press here. If you can load up the AEW roster page. Instead of just doing, right, it's Omega's turn to fight Lance Archer. It's an Omega match. I'll be hyped for it. Capture and this is where I think they'll go, or they should go. Capture the energy of that brawl last week and do Ospreay and Omega versus the Murder Machines Falls Count Anywhere next week in Atlanta.
Love it.
I don't necessarily want to see that tag. It'd be good, but I know who's going to win. The magic was them doing insane all over the arena last week, so why not make that the match?
Ask backstage what the point of a standard tag would be, and then you won't be able to find an answer.
Yeah. And Kenny's loves this sort of thing. He did it in dailies when he had the belt. It was, what was it, Mox, Omega and Kenta versus Archer and Mox. That was awesome. Do something
the DDT
like that.
In a minute.
Do something like that. Just do something like that next week after this, which feels obligatory and predictable and zone patterns. Right, well, we've done previews for this week and a need for next week, so one more thing to do here, and that is...
It's time to play the game! Time to play a game! Ha 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 ha!
Who is the 5th member of the Callis family? I think it might be Trent coming back from injury because he was in it.
Yeah, he was. He's in the stable.
Yeah.
But if it's not Trent...
It's not Trent, and we've got a new member.
Could be anybody. It could be Trent.
It could even be Trent.
do you want to go first?
Always on these games.
I'm scrolling through the AEW
Otherwise, we all
roster
die
page.
if we change the rules.
So I'm going to stop.
Stop.
Picking them between 1 and 15.
8.
Bit busy in another stable. It's the Bad Apple, Brian Keith.
Twist. Stop.
1 to 15.
Too many wrestlers. 12.
Peter Avalon.
Twist. Deedly.
Going back up.
Oh, God, I'm stuck now. I am stuck with... Stop.
1 to 15.
4.
Jay Lethal. Hamflett, over.
All right.
Over to you.
Well, you're going to have to win this now.
Yeah.
Did a very good job of this on the NXT preview, both of you, of course.
Worked well, didn't it? Yeah. Stop.
1 to 15.
2.
Christian Cage.
He's kind of already in his own zone.
Yeah,
Merging of families.
He's in the cage zone.
Yes. We'll twist.
Okay.
I do like the merging of families, but stop.
Oh, okay. 1 to 15.
15.
It's Cash Wheeler.
That's boring, isn't it? When Kenny Omega's just going to go through the Callis family. Not for me. I like it. Kenny Omega versus Cash Wheeler.
Yeah.
I want to see Kenny Omega.
That was how FTR broke up. After the Callis family.
Yeah.
What?
There is a very exciting editorial coming to WhatCulture.com.
Indeed.
Very soon. That is some of Michael Sidgwick's best work and best ideas. I love it. I think it's a genius move. That's all I'll say for now.
Yeah.
Right. All on this then.
I can't keep Cash, can I? Yeah, twist. It's going to be Jay Lethal or stop.
Okay. 1 to 15.
2.
Kip Sabian.
Not yet, mate.
So Jay Lethal, Kip Sabian. Let us know.
Can't wait. We should put like a vote on Twitter. Who could it be?
Could it be it?
Which one? Which one, guys?
One of the other great things on last week's Dynamite, though, was, of course, the Hurt Syndicate winning the tag titles. Sidge, can anyone stop them? Or, to put it another way, who'd you like to see him face next? Or kill next?
Yeah. We talked about this on the Collision review, where it feels like Tony's heard the clamours, which I think we started, of Hoss Division and make the Hurt Syndicate be like a throwback 80s reckless powerhouse monster team. I want to see some killings. How many killings first before like the big sort of guns then collide on pay-per-view? Because I thought Hounds of Hell versus Gates of Agony was something you build to, and you just have the Hounds of Hell just beat your two squibbiest little dickhead heels first, but whatever. Hounds of Hell versus Hurt Syndicate could be a great direction, but let's not get to it yet. I want more of the fix that I got last week, and that is that not just the throwback of the aesthetics. You want the ascension. You want the real stuff done again, and the Hurt Syndicate are the closest we've come in quite some time. So in true Road Warriors style, I want them to kill two geeks. Kill two geeks and MVP to yuck and laugh. I don't know who these geeks are, but just any geeks, just two geeks.
I was going to suggest someone like Top Flight, but they're busy with Leo Rush Action Andretti stuff on Collision, I think.
Yeah.
So they'd be perfect to sort of fly around and then just be like caught up, right? Now we've got you.
Yeah.
You know what I would quite like? This is total fantasy booking, and you'll see why in just a second. I would love it if they fought Billy Gunn.
Silver and Reynolds?
Yeah, they'll do. They're the geeks. They're the
Just
geeks.
saw Silver.
Because they're good geeks as well.
Yeah. Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens. And Bowens can't even tag in. And they just destroy Billy Gunn and this idea.
Can you imagine Billy Gunn going for that?
That's why it's never going to happen. But this idea of like...
Coincidence that Bowens doesn't tag in as
Didn't
well?
you almost have it all? Like, we've absolutely destroyed you.
Didn't he almost have it all?
And like, there's this lingering tease of, well, it was kind of Max that took the card that drove the dissension, or certainly escalated it with the Acclaimed, and has Anthony Bowens like pick the wrong lane here, like to even side with Billy Gunn, let alone continue his attack. Like, just let that tension simmer about if Bowens or Caster should have made a better call. And
Caster's currently doing an open challenge, by the way, announced it on Collision,
like
to fight the best wrestlers.
the thing about the Hurt Syndicate, and why, for now at least, we can enjoy it over the Death Riders, is that they had a modus operandi that not only have they stuck to, but actually makes sense within the narrative framework of a wrestling promotion. They're here for checks and championships, and they're beating people's aces. And at some point, like, MVP is willing to strengthen the group in numbers in order to continue to do that. This is not some sort of flawed...
But there is a vetting process.
Yeah, like, it's not some sort of flawed philosophical argument that John Moxley's had that is then completely abandoned. You can continue to, like, either recruit or say, nope, you're not getting in, and, like, Ricochet, I guess we'll get to how you feel like eventually this will overlap again. Like, Ricochet is feuding with Swerve. That's nothing to do with the Hurt Syndicate anymore, or is it?
Yeah.
Because all along has he been, like, reproving himself to the group to get in, because this kind of started with Swerve and Bobby Lashley, and that's what brings them two back together down the line. So the likes of a Bowens or a Caster or Mercedes Moné, who had the card and has done nothing with it, there is always a way to revisit that and have it make all the sense in the world, because presumably the Hurt Syndicate will grow. It's an overact, and why would you not want to kind of continue that and grow that for the betterment of several divisions?
Zones.
So bring some zones together.
Yeah.
That's it. Fold a bunch of zones in, like around the Hurt Syndicate. That makes a lot of stuff better.
Well, you mentioned Mercedes.
Money.
And she's involved in... Sorry, just checking my notes here. The only women's match on the card tonight, defending the TBS Championship against the woman who won the number one contendership in a fatal four-way on Collision. One of your favourites, Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah. Makes such an arsehole, mate. This match that could be really good, but at the same time, you won't see Yuka again for 3 months, so what are we really doing here? I fell in love with Yuka Sakazaki at Double or Nothing 2019. And then I was desperate to see her on TV every week. I thought that she was so charming. And I once described her as AEW's Arya Stark, where it's like the juxtaposition between the look, the size, the quality. And then when she did some badass stuff, it was just amazing. And then there's never been any follow through. Loads of factors have gone into that. But now it's hard to get excited. Like, oh, Yuka's back and yeah, she'll go away again. And I don't know what the makeup of this AEW crowd is, but she was so over whenever she would make appearances and comebacks. Like, people never forgot. They seem to have forgotten now, or they haven't forgotten, but they haven't had that much to get excited by. So I don't know how this is going to go, but if you would have told me in February 2020, when I just wanted more of Yuka, I would have just put her, if she was there full time, I would have had someone be the big heel and her do the chase. That's what the story I would have told. If you had told me, I know you can get Yuka Sakazaki versus Sasha Banks on Dynamite, I would have cartwheeled on the commute home. All the way home, just cartwheels. I would have been absolutely buzzing. Now, not so much. I'd like to see this open. The trust Mercedes to open. So hopefully this opens, gets a bit of time. I can't see it happening. Hopefully it doesn't get annihilated by a commercial break. And then it goes 8 minutes. You see 5 and 20 seconds. And then it just kind of ends. And it's getting to be good. And then it ends. That's the AEW Women's Match formula. I really hope this doesn't fall victim to it. The best version, the ceiling on this match, genuinely, it's been lowered because there's no real investment in Yuka Sakazaki anymore. Sadly, the general treatment of the AEW women's division means people aren't sat there in rapt anticipation, arms folded, blow me away, then that just doesn't exist. So the ceiling has been lowered. The conditions were better, and if this is all tended to a lot more. There's a version of this match in an alternate universe very close to our own that could be outstanding. That could be the making of a Yuka Sakazaki. And we're not that far away from it, which is so frustrating because Mercedes has clicked. She's found form. She feels like the arsehole who runs the whole thing all over again. The sentiment's not there with Yuka, and quite frankly, a nice, tidy 4-way on Collision randomly isn't going to get her there neither.
No.
Rich history.
Rich history of 4-ways. My gag.
Oh, sorry.
Seconds. Yeah.
Dynasty, mate. Dynasty, mate. Dynasty, mate. Yeah.
To suck my cock with that 4-way crap. It means nothing and you know it and you're insulting my intelligence. I want this to be great. I just hope it gets, not a bell pop, but like this is happening. I'm actually really excited. We'll see. I'm only saying this because I want to lower expectations, because I want to shield myself from disappointment. There is a match, this exact match in an alternate universe that could be outstanding. Sadly, I don't think this universe can promote it effectively.
Should get plenty of time. I mean, you look there, there's 3 matches. Well, actually, I've just seen that there's Yuta versus Jay White on tonight's show as well.
Very technically well worked.
Yep.
But
they're going to do some counters and that will be class, but few people will care.
Yeah.
4 matches announced.
They'll announce maybe another 2.
But in theory, should get plenty of time, this.
Well,
it should open.
We have got some information. There's a game within a game, Sidge. You like games? We ahead of a game that we often play around women's wrestling and AEW. It's a secondary game because Travis.
There might be a third game.
Travis, AEW won. reached out to me online with a little bit of information.
Travis
Appreciates. We appreciate him, and he appreciates our discussion of women's wrestling in the detail we like to go into. And I've sent you the information on this. He has gone to the trouble of timing out every women's singles match this year so far. And, you've got the results in front of you. I'll let you read this out.
Travis' message reads, just as an interesting side note, outside of the Casino Gauntlet, 6 of the 7 AEW women's matches in 2025 have been within 39 seconds in length. So that's 9:59, 9:55, 9:35, 9:28, 9:21, and 9:20.
pathetic.
That is a bit of business, that, isn't it? Thank you for that, Travis.
Thank you for that, but that's pathetic. That reminds me of when you go on Lady Frost's cage match, and every month she gets beat on Collision. It hasn't happened for a while, but last year, every month it would seem she would get beaten on Collision, and the second differences are even more close. Like 8 minutes 58, 9 minutes and 2. So what do you expect?
Can this cross the Rubicon into 10?
I like that. They're getting like high up in 9 minutes, and the referee's like, take it home.
Screaming is at the headpiece. Wrap it up.
Sad.
But this one could.
They should open.
Yeah, like that commercial break in that spot that it's normally in is absolutely brutal, isn't it? It is brutal what it does to these matches. Like the hot start, I think, could be key to this. Like, Sid used bell pop. If this has got just one of the dives from either of these where everybody comes up, because like Mercedes doesn't.
She looks like she gets killed.
Doesn't care about her own health. Yuka's always
got crystals for that.
An awesome dive in her.
Oh, she does.
Yeah, one of them early doors.
Yeah.
That like sets the tone and sets the vibe. It's got a chance, but you really need to do that.
Well, before we get to the name of the game, or even the aim of the game, controversy around Ladies' Night last week.
Oh,
did you see this?
Oh,
I am 3-0 up on both of you.
Yeah.
And that's how it remains, of course, because I'm not having this. But
you are having it.
Because, do you remember when Frank Lampard scored against Germany, it wasn't counted? Did they go back and change that afterwards?
Yeah, but the VAR exists now.
No, but there was no VAR called at the time. I'm afraid final whistle went on the AEW Dynamite. But I have a proposition for you, Michael Sidgwick, to change the score from my streak.
We share the points.
The man...
We each get a point, and he gets nothing.
Oh, yes, as long as that happens.
Yeah.
But...
The numbers will be all wrong at the end of the year.
My alternative is because also...
Give some context to the listeners of what actually happened.
Sorry, yes, I'll run you back. So last week, I won the game.
This is amazing.
I beat Sidge by 12 seconds, according to the man behind the...
Data.
Thanks.
Except you didn't.
The Panda Blair himself. Adam Blair, at Adam Wilson 4.
But you didn't.
The headline reads, Wilbourn beat Sidge by 12 seconds. And then the standards of practice has got together. And Panda said, VAR called, the footage has been reviewed. My original feed was out by 6 seconds. The revised time, 1 hour, 21 minutes and 33 seconds, which means we were the exact same time away from this. So, the Panda Blair has sent us a ladies' night quiz. And I think if you beat Michael Hamflett, then I will accept the VAR call.
Okay, but then going forward, VAR rules are introduced.
Agreed.
That's so as of now.
Yeah.
Starting. This is the real quiz.
Starting from this moment on, this will be the moment that VAR calls are canon.
But it is now time for a bloody good quiz. Ladies' Night edition. Thank you, as always, for all the hard work that Panda Blair and Jose Palomares puts into Ladies' Night throughout the year. So 10 questions.
Data.
More choice. Shall you wait for me to come to you?
Robert Stone.
Let's hear it. Data.
Question number 1.
Hear those names, I gotta say data. Otherwise, everybody dies.
This is the Ladies' Night 2024 quiz. Who had the most matches on Dynamite in 2024? Was it? Oh, he's written 2023 here, but I assume he means 2024.
Okay.
Yes, it's got to be. Right. Who had the most matches on AEW Dynamite in 2023? Was it Toni Storm, Mariah May, Anna Jay, or Chris Statlander?
Options again, please.
Toni Storm, Mariah May, Anna Jay, Chris Statlander.
Sidgwick Anna Jay.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Hamflett. Chris Statlander.
No, dear, that's wrong.
May.
It was Mariah May.
God damn it.
Way clear.
I didn't have the guts. I should have gone. I didn't have the guts.
18 matches for Mariah May in 2024, 9 for Statlander, and 8 for Tony Storm, Anna Jay, and Willow Nightingale.
Squash City Jones.
That's poor, that.
Which
doing?
Which wrestler had the most wins on Dynamite in 2024? Mercedes Moné. Where are my manners? Mercedes.
Money.
Short version. Willow, Stat, Mariah May.
Hamflett. Mercedes Money.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Mariah May.
Mel Calcontrig.
Mel Calcontrig, asshole. Asshole.
I got some doubts. Wow.
12 wins for Mariah May, but she also has the most losses in 2024. 6. Tony Storm and Mercedes both had 7 wins. Deonna, Willow, and Chris all on 5 in third place.
Are these good stats for Tony Khan here? Like the most push prospect, gets the most matches, gets the most wins, goes on to win the world
Willow
title.
Nightingale's had 8 matches. That's a terrible stat.
There's loads of damning information.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in terms of the Mariah May push,
Yeah,
this looks good on them and her and it. She's the world champion.
yeah.
That's 2020.
That's numbers don't mean emotions.
No, they do not. And you don't get numbers or emotions for the majority of the roster.
Yes.
Also a problem.
Question number 3, 1-0 to Sidge.
It's 1-1.
What?
No, it isn't.
No, I got the first one. Where are we at?
Question number 3, both Mercedes
Money.
and Deonna Purrazzo remained undefeated on Dynamite in
That's what
2024.
everybody's talking about, the big two.
Along with 3 other women. Which of the following was not undefeated, though? Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Riho, or Jamie Hayter?
Hamflett, Riho.
Yay!
1-1. Question 4. How many women have had an opportunity to have a match on the show in 2024? 28,
6.
28, 32, 37, or 39?
Sidgwick C.
37.
Yay!
Knows his stuff.
Oh.
I don't. It just sees a common answer in the psychology of creating a quiz.
Question 5, 2-1. Of the 37 women who've had the opportunity to perform on Dynamite in 2024, how many only had a single appearance? 8, 9, 10, or 11?
Sidgwick, 9.
No, dear, that's wrong.
8, 10, or 11, Hamflett?
11.
Yay!
I love
Is that 2-2?
2-2, but I do love, it's brilliant work he's put into this. Thanks again to Adam
you.
Blair.
Data.
He adds occasionally with these questions. Fun fact. Fun fact, this is up from 6 in 2023, with all 11 women losing their matches.
God.
I'll run you through
Up from 6.
Ruby Soho, Madison Rain, Sydney Winnell, Xerxes, Brittany Jade, Kiara Carter, Jasmine Howe, Viva Van, Caitlin Alexis, Emi Sakura, Robin Renegade. Job City Jones.
Yeah.
2-2 at the halfway point. What was the longest women's match on Dynamite in 2024? Was it A, 9 minutes and 2 seconds? B, 10 minutes and 16 seconds? Breaking that barrier that Travis told us about. C, 12 minutes and 45 seconds? Or D, a whopping 14 minutes and 9 seconds?
Sidgwick D.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Mariah May, Willow Nightingale seem to go on for a while.
I was thinking of the Owen final. I was waiting for a time that made sense. I'll do the Sidgwick strategy then and go C.
Yay!
12:45 for Mariah May and Willow Nightingale. And there's 3 other matches past the 10-minute mark here on this list.
The longest, and it was the main event, and it led to an awesome angle. Almost like profile and representation massively helps.
Yeah.
Was that then they're going head-to-head with NXT or no?
The Owen final, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I was going to say,
putting
Chad, sometimes they used to be like, that's at the women main event, just
Oh,
this
God.
1 week though.
Yeah.
Or when they're on a weird day or something.
Go on, we think you can take John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
You can take him.
Right, 3-2, question 7. What was the shortest match on Dynamite in 2024? 59 seconds, 1 minute and 16 seconds, 1 minute and 31 seconds, or 1 minute and 52 seconds?
It's a Cargill-free world, so I'm going to go with D.
No, dear, that's wrong.
It's 3-2 at the moment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What are the times again?
59, 116, 131.
B.
It's the score now, 4-2.
4-2. Still 3 to go, though. You can pull it
I
back.
can still win.
It was Camille beating Brittany Jade.
I forgot about Camille. How could I forget about Camille?
Another fun fact here. Thanks again. Fun fact, 5 matches finished under 3 minutes. Just so happened that they all occurred
It's
on
not
shows.
very fun, is it, Adam?
Adam's sad facts.
5 matches finished under 3 minutes. God. Just so happened that they all occurred on shows with 2 women's matches.
Delightfully devilish, Anthony.
Question 8. What was the average match length on Dynamite in 2024? 6 minutes and 9 seconds, 8 minutes and 1 second, 10 minutes and 16 seconds, or 12 minutes and 59 seconds?
Sidgwick B. Hey, it's 8 minutes. It's got to be. It's just pathetic.
Fun
Tony.
fact, it's exactly the same as 2023 and only 2 seconds increase from 2022.
What? That's insane.
Tweet that. I'll retweet it. That is great. That is
stat.
absolutely depressing.
I mean, that's liquid data.
That is
But,
liquid data.
However,
That is. I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise, but it shouldn't be that bad.
on the button, year on year.
4-3 now.
You know when we talk about network executives and look at
Cannot do that.
pouring over spreadsheets and graphs and stuff like that, someone somewhere might have poured over a spreadsheet and gone, "Nice one, guys, you kept it the exact same."
Yeah.
Bastards. Like that.
4-3, but
Yep.
Sige, this is an either-or question, so the rules on the Bloody Good quiz, of course, is if you get it wrong, your point will go to your
Yeah, yeah.
opponent. So, Mariah May wrestled 18 times on Dynamite in 2024. Is this more or less than Chris Jericho?
Hamflett, more.
Jericho worked 17 matches.
Yeah, he's always there.
He's always there.
He's always just.
Can't even draw now, can I?
No, but these are just for fun.
I'm not having fun. I'm really depressed.
How much? Oh, this is a good stat again. He's done some amazing
I bet
work.
it's very bleak.
How much total ring time did the women get on Dynamite in 2024? 6 hours, 1 minute, 9 seconds.
Sidgwick A.
No, dear, that's wrong.
6 hours, 29 minutes, 42 seconds. 7 hours, 36 minutes and 13 seconds. Or 7 hours, 52 minutes and 39 seconds.
Just quickly using Googs. Can you do that?
Googs.
7 hours as a percentage of.
I've got-
104.
Well, I've got it. I've got a fun fact afterwards.
Okay,
that
all right.
doesn't involve me doing any math calculatory.
I'll be generous and go D then. Sidge went short. I'll go long.
No, dear, that's wrong.
It was C, though. 7 hours, 36 minutes and 13 seconds. Fun fact! The women equated to 7.31% of the total Dynamite in-ring time in
Oh, Tony.
7%.
Are you
Right,
The thing is, we know this. We play a game.
We play the game.
That is 7%.
There's a tiebreaker here, just for fun.
Don't worry about it. There'll be a 0.5% of the backstage interviews on top of that. We've got a word here from the person who's going to lose on Collision this week. Yeah, shut your mouth. It's time for blokes.
Right.
Can't get over that one. 7%.
There's another stat coming that you will probably get very angry about. Tiebreaker was total women's wrestling time in 2024, 7 hours, 36 minutes, 13 seconds. To the closest percent, how much ring time did Chris Jericho get in direct comparison to the women? What percent of 7 hours?
You are doing the Lord's work here, Will Blair.
This is, oh my God. What percent did Chris Jericho get in comparison?
Right, consider just one man. I want to say 5.8.
5.8% of 7 hours.
Percent, correct.
Percent.
Well, I'll split the difference then and say 6%.
What do you mean split the difference?
Hang on, what did you say? 5%?
I said 5.8.
And the women over an entire
Oh,
calendar
sorry,
year
no.
got-
Sorry. Let's reset. That doesn't count as a guess. You're giving the percent compared to Chris Jericho. So if they did 7 hours and he did what's it good? 3.5 hours, that'd be 50%. I've realised I've not explained that very well.
Okay.
So in comparison to the women,
75%.
good guess.
50%.
Okay. Hamflett is closest. Jericho wrestled 3 hours, 22 minutes on Dynamite, equivalent to 44% of the entire time the entire women's roster got in 2024.
Tony.
Tony.
Oh, feel weird.
So
The learning tree, Chris Jericho, not even a shred of a good one.
Not
Not
even-
even a bit of a good one.
Like MLW Jericho.
Yeah.
He's not even TNA Jericho. He's MLW. Oh, is Jericho still in it? No, not anymore.
So I'm going to give this to the wonderful Panda Blair, Adam Blair, at Adam44 on X. Thank you for that quiz. Always a very eye-opening quiz every year, that.
And you've retained your...
The streak is intact.
Do you think, Jay, before we move on to the aim of the game and wrap up the podcast, do you think Jay White's going to beat Wheeler Yuta tonight?
It's going to be some slick-ass counters.
He does that. Anyway, before we get to the name of the game, Sidge.
Grand Slam title match. Are you joking me?
Yeah, you know, he's an Antipodean.
Yeah. We have to get to the aim of the game, Sidge.
The aim of the game. after
fight for this game.
after all that, is to identify to the hour, minute, and second the first time you hear the first note of the first entrance theme for the first woman to come out and compete for the only women's match on Dynamite. The idea being is wonderfully compiled by the Panda Blair himself. So this is an atrocity. And this criminal lack of representation and percentage and investment in time and everything else. We want to just italicize, underscore, and put in bold. It's kind of a speech impediment, mate, to be honest. We want to underscore, italicize, and put in bold the idea that, hang on, there's a really disgusting pattern here. And what tends to happen is that these matches, more often than not, but not always, to try and be cute with it, but more often than not, fall within that 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 minute range. And you're thinking, why then? And why so little? Why so infrequent? Why just a one match? And you think, could it possibly be that they are trying to tap in to a certain psychology of the viewer thinking, oh, I've already made it this far. The birds are on, but you know what? I'm looking at the clock here, and the main event's pretty close. So if I just persevere with the birds, then I'll get to the men. Now, if you look at the AEW audience, I'm not saying they do this. They don't really come up for the women's matches, but it's the loop, it's the circle, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They come up for the act if they're over and they want to see more of a Willow Nightingale, but we are where we are, and AEW has put us where we are. It's just, 1 hour, 20 minutes, if you can just persevere with the birds, and we have to put the bloody birds on, otherwise the Wokes will kick off. And I'm fairly certain at this point that's why they're doing it. That's maybe why there's only one, and that's why the one happens when it does. And you're thinking, Sidge, that's cynical. And it's a cynical mouthful. Could you jinglize what you perceive to be AEW's very cynical approach to promoting women's wrestling? I sure can. Don't worry, guys. When the women come out to play, the main event ain't too far away. That's the aim of the game.
Oh, excited.
It's not my best. And the name of the game... There's just one match tonight, baby. In the dub, there's no equality. Want to see more ladies on your screen? Tough tits. TK thinks they're all got bad or green. TK only books one match. Down. TK only books one match. Down. TK only books one match. Down. Tony, I hate you. Beep, 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 yeah. I was going to say, after that, I don't really hate you, Tony. I just think you could do a lot better. But after that data, I think I do. I didn't think you would get the verse, but I knew you'd get the chorus.
You got it.
Yeah.
I also
Drive my car by the Beatles.
Car stuff. We haven't had any on Dynamite this year.
Oh, thank God.
Brought some to the table.
Saying that, then we need to bring out an old classic.
It wasn't my car.
Right. They have to change the jingle as well. When the women come out to play in between 9 minutes and 59 seconds and 9 minutes and 20 seconds, the main event ain't too far away. So as
When the women come out to play, the main event is 8 minutes away. It's pathetic.
As the man with an undefeated streak, I will go first. And guess what? I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my god.
I don't know how much I can play without getting in trouble.
Do you want to go next, Stitch?
2 seconds. I need to make my notes.
Never let me down.
No.
Make my
Worryingly.
notes.
Troubling. Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? Terrible tactic of, again, I need to quit it with these football analogies because I realize a lot of wrestling fans don't really like football. Soccer. But when you're behind the 8 ball in fantasy league, where you try and select a team of players who are going to get you the most points through goals and such, if you go, I'm going to get the points no one else is going to get because I didn't pick the star striker of the season and I'm going to get the same points as those, I'm still going to be playing catch up because they're already getting those points. So if I try and be more creative, never works. The die is cast after like 2 months.
You've got to have the same 6 players.
You got to have the
Every
same
top player's got the
exactly.
same 6 players.
So I'm going to do that tactic, even though I know it doesn't make sense. Boom, let's go work now. Some fat cock and a flash of light. Boom, bring the boom. Zero hours, sorry. 3 minutes.
Love it.
And 10 seconds.
I hope you're right.
After some Death Rider
Yeah, I would have gone the opener as well, but I'll try the other tactic of just adding the player and hoping it works out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Nice. Right, come on. Top of the hour, Tony. Let's go.
Okay, Sidgwick, what did I say? 3,
3,
10.
10.
3, 10.
So something's got to get. We got to get.
I've got a new strategy. It's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Remember.
I'm beaten by my own strategy. God damn it.
It becomes this petty pussy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4 for Sidge. There we go. Hey, mate, if you get it right as well.
Oh, to the second.
To the second.
It's
And then the game
yeah.
finishes.
We could, of course.
Do a game within a game and guess the match length.
Ooh.
8 minutes and 3 seconds. We'll do that next week.
Yeah. Because if this week holds up like Travis's run of 9s,
Yeah.
then we have to enter the
yeah.
9 minute zone.
Bang in the middle, 9:30, I reckon, for this.
We'll start playing Knocky 9 doors.
Yes.
Well, let us know your thoughts ahead of AEW Dynamite in the comments or on X at WhatCulture WWE.
My wig's been blown off for that data. Jesus Christ, it's pathetic.
Watch you. You can follow all 3 of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow to review AEW Dynamite, and our NXT review is coming your way later on today as well. But for now, it's been the Dynamite preview. My thanks to Hamflett, to Sidgwick. Thanks again to Adam Blair for the Ladies' Night quiz. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.